Hello, everyone, and welcome to today's webinar on accelerating your sustainability plans with Microsoft Sustainability Manager. My name is Deepika Bhatt, and I'm joined by my colleague, Sophie. We are both data and AI consultants for Thorogood, based in our London office. Today, we'll start off with a bit about Thorogood and who we are, set the stage for sustainability challenges we face as a planet, what sustainability trends we are seeing in the data and analytics industry. Then we will focus on a sample business case to demonstrate some of the key features of Microsoft Sustainability Manager to then summarize how we see this tool can fit into your enterprise data strategy, and then finally finish off today's session with the next steps. We are an independent professional services consulting firm specializing in data and analytics solutions. We operate as a single organization serving our customers globally, working within leveraged teams across our offices in Boston, Philadelphia, London, Bangalore, Singapore, and Sao Paulo. We provide a full range of services to support business goals. This includes, but is not limited to, covering the end-to-end life cycle of any project from initial strategy and roadmap definitions, gathering requirements, designing and implementing complex systems, and training and support of business users. In terms of the technologies we work with, we are an independent consulting firm, meaning we don't work with one specific technology. We do, however, work and partner with many of the key players in the market in order to provide our clients with a solution that best suits their needs. And as we will see later on, many of these partners are orientating and driving themselves towards sustainable businesses. As many of you will be aware, sustainability is becoming a mainstay of societal narrative. We see and hear about environmental challenges and their impact on a daily basis. In our prior webinars on sustainability, we have talked about the rising importance of being able to define quantifiable sustainability goals, measure impact, and also considerations when building data platforms with environmental and sustainability data. You can access this content on demand by visiting the perspectives page or our website listed on the screen here. So with that backdrop of rising global consciousness on sustainability, the key to responding effectively is embedded in organizational digital transformation. For organizations to rise to this challenge, they fundamentally must understand and quantify their impact on the environment and how to reverse and mitigate it. Successful implementation of data and AI solutions to tackle climate change will be determined by the extent to which organizations are able to collect, manage, analyze, and act upon their sustainability data in a timely fashion over the next few years. The first step for organization will be identifying and collecting the required data. New challenges will require the use of new data sets that organizations may not have ever analyzed or collected before. Data ingestion, storage, and processing will present a major initial hurdle. The nature and the granularity of the data sets will need to include everything from carbon equivalent data, supplier PEFC certifications, how much water consumers use with the product, or even the type of truck used to ship a product. These types of data sets will suffice to provide an initial view as reporting and disclosure requirements are still being rolled out. However, as organizations become more sophisticated at tracking and analyzing their impact, they will need more accurate data at a much higher velocity. IoT devices combined with AI will enable greater pseudo-real-time capabilities for tracking and responding at a greater scale. For example, tracking fuel consumption in real time or understanding and varying the current power use of an office building to save energy. So technology holds an incredible potential to power a sustainable transformation by increasing the productivity of systems while simultaneously lowering emissions, reducing waste, monitoring resources, collecting and harnessing vast amounts of data, and making breakthrough advances to drive the sustainability agenda further across all sectors. The immediate need will be creation of holistic data platforms that are able to combine internal and external data sets across a variety of formats at a range of velocities. Once the architectures and data platforms are established, there will be a need for products and applications that can then use this data to understand, analyze, and ultimately drive action. Thorogood has worked with world-leading organizations to help build out sustainability data platforms and the applications that drive action. Our aim as an organization, alongside our commitments to our internal sustainability, is to work with world-leading organizations to continue to help them and others achieve their sustainability initiatives. Ultimately, you can be anywhere on the spectrum of digital transformation, but you will see that data emerges as a vital foundation for attaining your sustainability goals. Now, as we go into the technical implementation, let me start by showing you an example of an architecture pattern that we work with at many of our customers. Firstly, on the left, we have the data-rich applications that we will ingest data from. Then we will go through the typical ETL, so extract, transform, and load process. When the data first comes into the bronze layer, it will be raw, untransformed data. In the transition to silver, the data will be cleaned, filtered, and transformed to fit the necessary business case. And finally, the gold layer will consist of business level aggregates in which we can create reporting tables where the data is aggregated to necessary level of granularity. After the data has been cleaned, transformed, and aggregated, it can be then used in other downstream applications such as visualization tools. This process that we have outlined represents a standard architecture pattern, but can also be used to help sustainability and reporting needs without much manipulation. The key message here is that it doesn't require a lot of technical prerequisites to implement an effective sustainability data reporting. It is just the will to actually do it. In addition to this foundational architecture, we can also use pre-existing tools in our journey to effective sustainability data reporting. There have been exciting new tool sets developed in this area, such as Salesforce's Net Zero Cloud and Microsoft's Cloud for Sustainability, which can accompany your existing data platform. These toolkits don't really require an uprooting of the existing architecture and can be used in combination with the architecture pattern outlined in the screen to then ultimately improve your sustainability data reporting. So we refer to Microsoft's Cloud for Sustainability. So as a part of the Microsoft Cloud for Sustainability offering, Microsoft have introduced a new tool for tracking sustainability goals, Microsoft Sustainability Manager, which we will be focusing on in today's webinar. This tool enables organizations to slot in already existing data sets and combine them with an array of pre-written emission calculations. And then from here, goals and scorecards can be then set up to track and allocate emission targets and performance against these targets. There are also fallbacks in the case of lack of data. So estimation factors can be used to convert proxy data into activity data. An example of this could be the square footage of a factory being used to estimate the energy consumption of the said factory. Sustainability Manager is a great start for organizations who may have a small amount of sustainability data reporting currently, but are looking to consolidate their data all in one place. It brings a lot of templates with it, meaning there's relatively low setup costs. And we will now look at a bit more in detail into this tool with a use case. So setting the scene for the business case that we are using in today's demo. This use case scenario considers a large enterprise organization aiming to understand their energy consumption across their buildings or manufacturing sites and how various optimization mechanisms being put in place are affecting consumption. It really will enable this organization to determine the effectiveness of their energy optimization mechanisms. To start building this actionable reporting, some of the key data sources for this use case will be energy consumption data, sensors and building management systems providing footfall information, weather forecasts, and also CCTV systems, to name a few. In today's demo, we will be focusing on the energy consumption data and how Microsoft Sustainability Manager can use that. With that, I will hand over to Sophie to take us through the demo.
Thank you, Deepika. So now that we have identified the business use case, what are the source data sets which we will use? For this use case that we explained, we'll be exploring energy consumption of an organization's office in India. The data sources are unstructured JPEG images of energy invoices. An example is displayed on the left-hand side of the screen. To extract the data from these images, the process would previously have required someone manually extracting the information by looking at it. However, another Microsoft offering, Azure AI Document Intelligence Studio, can be used to read unstructured data automatically. Some of you may have known this Document Intelligence Studio tool by its previous name of Form Recognizer, but as an overview, this AI tool allows us to automatically convert these images into numerical tables within our data architecture. There are certain types of data which you need to extract from the invoice scans, such as date of the invoice, units of energy consumed, and which office floor the energy readings belong to. Within Document Intelligence Studio, you can train the AI by labeling example invoices. An example of a labeled invoice is shown on the right-hand side of the screen. So in summary, by using this tool, information can automatically be extracted from future energy invoices, reducing the manual workload and potential human entry errors when extracting information. So as an output, Document Intelligence Studio generates a JSON file. For this example of energy invoices, we use the Databricks notebook to transform this file into a table stored in Azure Data Lake. So now that we have the invoice data extracted in a readable format, we need to combine this data with calculations in Microsoft Sustainability Manager. So there are a lot of different options to ingest data into Microsoft Sustainability Manager. The first is to use Excel templates. So this is useful for one-time history loads. These templates work by providing a set of specified columns within which you can paste your sustainability data into these and upload the file to Microsoft Sustainability Manager. The second method is to use Power Query. So it's a good idea to use this for loads that you want automated and productionized. In our example use case, Power Query is used to connect to our Azure Data Lake due to this automation capability. So you can connect Sustainability Manager to a wide range of sources using Power Query, including SharePoint locations or SQL databases. The third method is to use partner solutions. So these are niche bespoke connections for partners whose data connections aren't supported through using Power Query, such as Arcadia or EcoVadis Data. So I'm now going to navigate to Microsoft Sustainability Manager to do a demo of its features and show you how emissions can be calculated. So this is what Microsoft Sustainability Manager portal looks like. So you can log into this through your browser, and the left-hand toolbar is used to go through different functionalities. So you can see here there's separate sections for analytics, data, and calculations. So we're going to start off by looking at the data section. So within the imports tab is where you configure the ways of connecting to data sources. So as I just explained, when connecting to a new data source, there is the option of an Excel file, Power Query, or partner solutions. So if you click on Excel, you can see here the templates which I mentioned for uploading your data here. So we uploaded data into Microsoft Sustainability Manager before this demo and webcast started. So how do we see where this data is? So to do this, we navigate to carbon activities. Also remember that our invoices contain data on electrical energy consumption. So from this, we'd know that our data would be categorized under purchased electricity. Clicking on purchased electricity, you can see here the energy invoice data, which we have loaded in. The quantity column represents the electricity consumed, with this in BTU units, as this is what was in our original invoices. Also, for the purposes of this demo, we have used Thorogood as the organization name for anonymization purposes. So we've validated that the data has been ingested into Microsoft Sustainability Manager. And now we can utilize its built-in data sets to generate emission calculations. So navigating to the calculations section on the left, we can click on factor libraries. So you can see displayed now a list of different emission factor libraries. So for those of you who aren't familiar with this terminology, an emission factor is a number used to convert a specific activity into its equivalent emissions produced. So each library here contains a collection of emission factors. In this list, you can see a diverse range of emission factor libraries. You can leverage these from types such as business travel and air to hotel stays. There are also estimation factor libraries at the bottom of the page here, and these estimation factor libraries enable you to do more complicated calculations, especially related to fuel usage and heat. We'll be focusing on emission factors in this webcast, but it's good to be aware of these other libraries and their capabilities. So you can note as well that you can create your own libraries using this Create New Library button. So this is if you have unique company conversion factors that you already have. So what we're interested in is the emission factor for electrical consumption for a site in India. So we don't want to use these DEFRA libraries as these are UK conversions. Instead, we want a factor library labeled ROW, meaning rest of world. So scrolling down, we can see here ROW and electricity. So this seems to match what we want. So selecting this, you can see information about this library, and also you can see the emission factors stored within this. So just validating that the India emission factor is stored in here, we can see that this row is the one that we want. So this feature of Microsoft Sustainability Manager of factor libraries is really useful for an organization which needs to calculate their emissions globally, because it centralizes the sourcing of the emission factors, and Microsoft will also update these emission factors automatically, so you don't have to maintain these yourself. So now that we've located the emission factor that we want to use, I need to automate the emissions calculation. So if I navigate to models on the left-hand side, you can see here displayed a list of calculation models automatically set up by Microsoft Sustainability Manager. For our use case demo, I've built a custom flow for my emission calculations. So finding this, looking at this, you can see that it's a very visual interface for setting up calculation models. And also it largely uses drop-down selection, which is really useful and makes it more interactive. My flow firstly directs to the purchase electricity data as the source, specified here. And then we use a report activity. So the selection panel at the side shows how the model recognizes that quantity is the energy column, which the emissions need to be calculated from. BTU units is selected, as this is what the invoices were in the form of, and also it directs to the emission factor library that we just found and specifies the India emission factor. Eventually, we'll want to load in energy consumption data for all our organisation offices globally, but we want this calculation flow to only run for this India office. So how do we do this? So to do this, we navigate to calculation profiles. So calculation profiles configure that the calculation is run for a specific subset of data. So looking for the calculation profile set up for our demo, you can see here it's specified that purchased electricity data must belong to Thorogood India for this specific calculation model to be run. So this makes sense as we only want the invoices from India to use the calculation model which has the Indian emission factor specified. So now that this is set up, we can go to all emissions under the data section. And you can see here all of the rows of data that we had previously, but also with the addition of these columns, which show the emission calculations. So you can see here for the invoice from April 2022, 4.566 tonnes of carbon dioxide has been calculated to have been produced from this electricity invoice. So now that we have all of our emissions calculated for our sample data, we now want to build reporting. So the analytics section in Microsoft Sustainability Manager is used to visualize insights from your data. So Sustainability Manager automatically generates some dashboards. You can see them here. If you click on the Emissions Insights tab, it takes a while to load, so I'll click on one I loaded up earlier. You can see here an auto-generated dashboard of your overall emissions data. So this dashboard is really useful to show the general trends from 2021 to 2023, but it doesn't quite fulfill the brief that we outlined at the start. So for our business use case, we wanted to assess the effectiveness of energy optimization strategies to reduce emissions. So to do this, we have to use a reporting tool outside of Microsoft Sustainability Manager. We're taking Power BI as our tool of choice. Here is an example of a Power BI report which fulfills the brief. It combines the energy emissions data, which was output by Microsoft Sustainability Manager, and I showed just now, with other Internet of Things data, such as the number of people in the building and relative heating or cooling, depending on outside temperature. So on top of these data sets, we have also created a custom baseline regression model in a machine learning tool of choice and integrated this into our report too. So just to give an overview of this dashboard, it brings all the data together. It compares actual energy consumption to that predicted by machine learning if optimization mechanisms, such as turning off the lights, had not been put in place in April 2022. From this dashboard, we can clearly get insights into the energy and emission saving benefits. So we can see here overall statistics about emission savings, energy savings, and cost savings. Also, the difference between this red and blue line represent energy savings too. So by bringing together the emissions data output from Microsoft Sustainability Manager with machine learning and other data sets, the company can assess the effectiveness of their optimization strategies. So you can see here the data architecture, which I've just explained throughout the demo. So the architecture displays how unstructured data sources and Internet of Things data were ingested into the bronze layer, using Document Intelligence Studio to read the images into the silver layer, with Databricks automating some data transformation processes. Then Microsoft Sustainability Manager can ingest the data, source emission factors, and build calculations. This curated information from Microsoft Sustainability Manager forms our gold layer and can be combined with other datasets to flow into enterprise-ready Power BI reporting. So to summarize, in this webinar, we have explained how Microsoft Sustainability Manager can be used to accompany or support your organization's enterprise data platform. We have shown how Sustainability Manager is useful for connecting to its vast centralized libraries of emission and estimation factors. The tool also streamlines emission calculations by providing pre-built models and a visual interface which can be used to accelerate your sustainability solution journey. Most importantly, Sustainability Manager can be integrated into your existing data architecture by connecting Sustainability Manager with other tools such as Document Intelligence Studio, Databricks, and Power BI. You can create an end-to-end data architecture, and this enables an organization to holistically answer global business questions, such as in our example of energy optimization. So now that you have an idea of how Sustainability Manager could fit into your own data architecture, I want to walk you through what you can do to get started on developing a sustainability data plan. So here at Thorogood, we've been delivering sustainability initiatives with partners for over 10 years. So from this, we have developed a sustainability accelerator toolkit. We can use our data understanding, models, and enterprise-ready templates to support your organization to build a data platform which streamlines insights at a global scale. Taking action is key, and shown here is a path which we've used to help a number of organizations progress on their sustainability journeys. So the accelerator works by identifying the best opportunity, then running a workshop, and then developing a solution. Another offering we have, if you're interested in Microsoft Sustainability Manager specifically, is that we have worked along Microsoft to run Microsoft Sustainability Manager in a day events. This event can help you learn more about the technology with hands-on exercises. So if any of this is of interest, please feel free to reach out to us. We're happy to offer a free 1-hour consultation on anything discussed today, or to talk generally about how to progress with sustainability initiatives involving data and AI within your organisation. So thank you very much for joining, and we will now conclude this webcast.